Hey guys, good morning everyone. As yesterday we have completed half of the chapter. The part 1 we have finished. Okay, today we'll take a recap of part 1 and then we'll move to the second part of this video. Okay, so what we have seen yesterday, we have seen Jodi's father had got bitten by a snake, by a rattlesnake. Okay, and he got a door and heart and liver to cure himself. That was the home remedy. And tell me first, have you collected this information that what you will do, a home remedy over cut on your knee, a burn on your arm, a bee sting means ऐसा आपने have you found that home remedy for that? Okay, if you have, then please share it with the class also. Okay, so tell me, what else the thing we have seen yesterday, that Jodi's father got bitten by rattlesnake and he was quite dangerous. So he took a doe heart and liver, in which the fawn got alone there. He was miserable. He was in miserable condition, and but Jodi's was not able to recover or overcome from that situation. He was not stop himself thinking about that fawn, little fawn. So he convinced his mother and father to bring that fawn to his home, and he took the help of Millville. Okay, and he went to the forest to find that little fawn, and will continue this chapter now. The spots were all in a line. One a doe fawn. Pa says the spots are every which way. Means it means that his father has explained that a female deer and a male deer spots and whatever the lining or stripes are really different from each other. Doe has different kind of spots on their body, and the deer has another kind of spots in their body. So this is explained by his father to Jody. Jody gave himself over to thought of the fawn. He passed the abandoned clearing, okay, that was uninhabited place. He said, cut to the north, Millville. It was up here that Pa got bitten by the snake and killed the doe, and I saw the fawn. So that there was the place where the north, in the north. Suddenly, Jody was unwilling to have Millville with him. He was not happy to him to having his support or the help. If the fawn was dead or could not be found, he could not have his disappointed scene. Yeah, of course. If I have lost something, or if you will lose, the only person will realize what it meant to us. Okay, not the other person will understand our problem or the disappointment what happened by losing something. Okay, and if the fawn was there, the meeting would be so lovely and so secret that he could not endure to share it. Means, if the fawn will get, he will not keep that secret. He will obviously he will share this to all, and he will tell that I have found that deer, the fawn. He said, it's not far now, but the scrub is very thick for a horse. I can make it on foot. Now, who said this? This is told by Jody, okay, because he was not happy to having him. So he decided to go on his foot, and he will find that found alone, as it was very thicket jungle. I will take care. It might take me a long time to find the fawn. If he's wandered, leave me off right here. Alright, but you take it easy now. You know, north here and east, there and there. The tall pine makes a bearing. Okay, so this all things told by that Will Mill to have a connection when he will go to find that little fawn, and how he have to come back to that place. So long, Millville, I am obliged. He waited for the sound of the hoofs to end. Hoofs means the sound which is made by an animal like means horse, deer. Okay, so when they were rushing to that spot, some sound was made by that horse. So he told that they waited up to the sound got end. Then cut to the right. The scrub was still. Only his own crackling of twigs sounded across the silence. He wondered for an instant if he had mistaken his direction. Now he is on foot and he is on the way to find that little fawn. Then a buzzard rose in front of him and flapped into the air. He came into the clearing under the oaks. Buzzard sat in a circle around the carcass of the joy. Means a buzzard is a bird, okay, large bird that is like a vulture. They eat flesh of dead animals, dead and decay animals. So they were on the spot where the doe was killed, and they were just having their meal over that carcass body of that doe. Means carcass means dead body of that doe. They turned their heads on their long, scrawny neck and hissed at him. They were means the buzzard who were having their meal over that carcass of that doe. They turned their thin neck to hissed at him that please go, we are having here, do not disturb us. He threw his bow at them and they flew into the adjacent tree. Means he threw some of the thin branches from the tree so that they will move from there to the nearby places. The sand showed large cat prints, but the big cat killed flesh, and they had left the door to the carrion birds. Means there were no sign of the in the sand the footprints of that, so that he could locate that. The only he could see the cat prints. He parted the grass at the place where he had seen the fawn. It did not seem possible that it was only yesterday. The fawn was not there. He circled the clearing. There was no sound, no sound, no sign. The buzzards clacked their wings, impatient to return to their business. What their business? Their business was to eat the carcass of the doe. So there was no sound, no sign. How could I find that little fawn? He returned to the spot where the fawn had emerged and dropped on all four, means on the legs, studying the sand for the small hoof prints. But the night rain had washed away all the tracks except those of cat and buzzard. Now only the footprint was visible of cat and buzzard, and rest of the footprints were disappeared because as last night it had rained and washed away all the tracks which could help him to track that little fawn. Now here comprehension check. Jodies didn't want Millville with him for two reasons. What were they? There must be reason that if the fawn will if the fawn will die, he will not have any kind of disappointment, or if he will find him, he will not stop himself to means boast about it. Why was Melville afraid to leave Jodi's alone? Because he was a kid and he was not knowing about the direction, and it was the thick forest, right? So that is the reason. Movement directly in front of him startled him so that he tumbled backward. The fawn lifted its face to his. Now finally he got a look, got a sight of that fawn. The fawn lifted its face to his. It turned its head with a wide, wandering motion and shook him through with the stare of its liquid eyes. It was quivering. It made no effort to rise or run. Jody could not trust himself to move. Okay, now finally he found that fawn in front of him, and he just made a sign that he could realize him and could not move away from there. He whispered, "It's me." The fawn lifted its nose, scenting him. He reached out one hand and laid it on the soft neck. That touch made him delirious. He was excited. He moved forward on all four until he was close beside it. He put his arm around its body. A light convulsion passed over it, but it did not stir. Now the faun was quite scared. He was alone. He was not having his mother right in front of him, and he was like he is alone from the last night, right? So when this Jody found that little faun, he just moved forward. Means the faun moved towards him. When he whispered that it's me, he scented him and moved forward. And then what did Jody did? He put his hand around his neck, and later he grabbed his body, and he put his arm around its body. Now he stroked its side as gently as though the fawn were a china deer, and he might break it. Means china deer means you must have heard about a clay, जो चीनी मिट्टी का clay का वो जो utensils वगैरह रहता है, a pot. Okay, clay pot बोला जाता है, that it when it will fell down on the ground it will break. Okay, so the deer was just like that. He felt he might break it. Its skin was very soft. It was sleek and clean and had a sweet scent of grass, because he was living just means around the grass and on the grass, so that's why he scented like a grass. He rose slowly and lifted the fawn from the ground. Its legs hung limply. They were surprisingly long, and he had to hoist the fawn as high as possible under his arm. Now, this as we can see in the picture, like this, he lifted that fawn in his arm, but his leg was quite long to handle, and it was quite limpy, like shivering. It was not properly. He was afraid that it might kick and bleat at sight and smell of its mother. He skirted the clearing and pushed his way into the thicket. It was difficult to fight through with his burden. Means now Jody is facing some of the problem that he was not able to, because the jungle was quite scrubby. Okay, it was quite thick, so he was not able to clear that and could move forward easily. The fawn's leg caught in the bushes, and he could not lift his own with freedom. He tried to shield its face from prickling vines whenever he was moving in forward. Some of the thorns, some of the prickling vines were just coming to his face, and he was just protecting his face by shaking that head. The fawn was doing that. It had bobbed with its right. His heart thumped with the marble of its acceptance of him. He reached the trail and walked as fast as he could until he came to the intersection with the road home. He stopped to rest and set the fawn down its dangling legs. It wandered, it waved on them, it looked at him and bleated. Bleated means some kind of sound that is made by a deer. Okay, so now he came at a intersection of the road where he kept that fawn on the ground, and he rested. Jody rested for a while because he was quite a small, and he carried the burden of that fawn, and he got tired, so he put that fawn onto the ground. He said, enchanted, I will carry you after I get my breath. Now, when I get my breath back, now I am quite exhausted. So, when I'll get my breath back, I will carry you soon. But he remembered his father saying that a fawn would follow if it had been first been carried. He started away slowly. The fawn started after him. He came back to it and stroked it, walked away again. It took a few wobbling steps toward him and cried piteously. Means he was quite pathetically or heartbreaking. Breakingly he cried. Who cried? Yeah, the fawn cried. It was willing to follow him. It belonged to him. It was his own. He was light-headed with his joy. He wanted to fondle it. Now Jody was quite happy to have him back, and now Fawn is also happy to have someone who is caring about him. Okay, now means as Jodi's father told that once you will carry a found, it will follow you. So that is the reason now he left the found onto the ground and let him follow him. Okay, so this is all about the story today, and tomorrow when we'll meet, I just want on Monday we'll meet and we'll clear means we'll complete this all the chapter with this summary. Okay, so up to now you can do that. You can find out the word meanings which are difficult for you, and also you can go with the exercises part also. Okay, so do it best and complete this question answer, and wherever you will find the problem you can ask to me. Okay, so have a nice day to all.